Hi, friends. Let's talk about nutrition today. I am 1 pound from my next small goal of losing 30 pounds. And Patch and I have increased our walk to somewhere between 4 and 5 miles a day, plus my 30 minutes of yoga. So I just kind of wanted to update you on what's going on in my own personal journey. And as we get ready to go back to school here. So anyway, let's talk about nutrition. It probably seems like I'm stuck on a couple of topics that I just can't seem to say enough about: healthy eating and stress. I'm going to leave the stress out today, kind of. I want to talk about what we eat. I talked about my story with Shackley in the last video, how we relied heavily on the nutrition gain from supplementing our diet during the cancer battle, then waning to eventually using no supplements these last 16 years. So here are my thoughts on that. We could have continued taking them, but all the supplements in the world would not have been a great benefit. Now wait, what? I just talked about how great Shackley's supplements are. Okay, so here's the deal. If you don't have healthy eating habits, there ain't nothing gonna keep your body from overreacting to the crap. Yes, the crap you put into it. If I only had the last 22 years of my life back. And the worst part, not retraining myself, but the fact that my children were trained not to eat right as well. I think back to all the McDonald's we ate when all 4 of us were running out the door to a rehearsal. Both boys are overweight, eat fast food a lot. Brian is pre-diabetic, and Blake has skin issues that I know are a reaction to his diet and stress. Ugh, sometimes I wonder what kind of parent I was. Habits are incredibly difficult to overcome. We know this. Look at smoking or drug and alcohol abuse. And the older we get, the harder it is to break them. Here's the good news, though. Unlike Patch, who paces each morning until I'm ready to go for our walk, humans have the ability to understand that we can change our habits to those which heal us rather than cause us harm. Many of you are probably thinking that the choice to eat unhealthy is not as detrimental as smoking or drugs and alcohol, but I disagree. Now that I have discovered how much better I feel by eliminating certain foods, I realize how addicting and bad for me they really were. And I was not disciplined enough in my 30s or even 40s to not eat those foods because I couldn't feel their effects. However, I've done enough reading this summer to know that my body was constantly trying to figure out what to do with all that junk. And over time, I began to feel the effects of years of gut abuse. Quite literally. The microbiomes in my gut have very likely been out of whack most of my life. What I thought were allergies related to the environment, since I was a child no less, were likely reactions to some kind of imbalance in my gut. When you continually put in bad bacteria, they will eventually overtake the good. How else can I explain the sudden disappearance for the need of continual allergy medication? I am proposing a very simple diet. No gimmicks, no fads. Whole foods, that's it. I'm also suggesting you rethink the amount of calories you eat in a day. Most of us are very sedentary. We don't need the same amount of calories our parents and grandparents needed. And since I've mentioned earlier generations, let's think about their lifestyle for a moment. Without all of the fast food choices during their lifetime, they really didn't have much of a choice but to use whole food to make their meals. My husband argues that despite that, our expected lifespan is longer. However, I don't think the science is in on that one yet. The majority of the people dying from old age or health issues in their old age are our parents and grandparents. If those of us in our 50s continue to eat the fast food that we've grown up with, and let's face it, Gen X is the first generation to really grow up with fast food. So how long will we live? Here's the worst part of this whole scenario. Not only have we turned to this unhealthy way of eating ourselves, but we've taught our children to eat this way as well. We're the first generation that had that opportunity, or lack of opportunity, to eat well. So, is there hope for us? Yes. Every day we spend correcting our eating habits helps us heal and rejuvenate. We're really talking about eliminating the foods that cause our bodies to react with unnecessary inflammation. So, here you go. Try limiting excessive salt, sugar, and fat. Consider eating your leftovers quickly, not keeping them over a day. And get rid of these foods completely. Red meat, or if you are a red meat eater, which we are, eat lean cuts and cut down the portions. Get rid of saturated and trans fats. White bread. French fries, that one right there is my hardest one. Soda, white sugar, corn syrup, the omega-6 fatty acids. We really don't need hardly any of those. It's the omega-3s that we need. Monosodium glutamate, gluten. And you might be thinking, well, I'm not gluten intolerant. Doesn't matter. That substance throws your gut and the microbiomes out of whack. So instead, try eating these foods that fight inflammation. Cold water fish, like salmon, tuna, mackerel, or herring. Berries, tree nuts. Now remember, peanuts are not tree nuts, and there's a very specific difference. Seeds, pumpkin seeds. I love pumpkin seeds. Whole grains, dark leafy greens, soy if you can. Mycoprotein, which is in mushrooms. My husband loves mushrooms. Low-fat dairy, if any dairy. I have substituted almond milk for any milk or dairy that I want to use in that form because I can't tolerate the dairy, and I don't think it's lactose, unless the lactose is what's causing my stuffy nose and that kind of thing. It's some kind of a sinus reaction with me. Peppers, tomatoes, beets, tart cherries, ginger and turmeric are fantastic. Garlic, and if you're going to use oils, olive and safflower oil. Notice I didn't say sunflower oil. I said safflower oil. Black pepper. Cruciferous vegetables, broccoli, cabbage, cauliflower. Now, I will say that those of us with hypothyroidism, you have to watch your cruciferous vegetables. You would have to eat a ton of them for them to interact or counteract your thyroid. But it is recommended that you steam them, and then you can eat as many as you want. Avocados, hot sauce, curry powder, carrots, turnips, zucchini, and cucumbers. That's just a small list, but think about that list. It's whole foods. There are some studies that support drinking coffee. There are also some studies that don't support it. I personally drink 1 cup a day. If you cannot or do not include foods with good bacteria for your digestion, include a probiotic into your diet. For instance, I cannot eat yogurt. It does the same thing to me as milk does, so I take a probiotic every day. The above mentioned foods are high in fiber, which fights inflammation, as well as being good for your heart. And there are studies that have suggested dementia, Alzheimer's, the mental aging process, can be reversed or lessened by restoring minerals like manganese and zinc to the diet. Age also works on our kidneys, and making sure you have adequate vitamin C and B complex can improve kidney function. So I've talked about a lot, and please understand that I am not coming up with this stuff alone. I've read and read about lifestyle, healthy eating, and working to understand the body and mind are not separate, but that we are mind-body. This has been my focus over the summer. You probably can tell that. Also remember that changing your eating habits is a marathon, not a sprint. It's not going to happen overnight. in this healthy eating group that we've restarted again with my good friend. She is talking to everyone about detox. And I get a little confused with that because I feel like I'm on a continual detox with eating the right foods. Because for so long, I ate the wrong foods or ate a few good foods with all the wrong foods with it. And so I still feel like I am at a point where I have to make sure I put none of those toxins into my body. So I feel like a good diet is a detox diet, and that's what I'll probably be on for the rest of my life. Am I worried about it? No, because it's all whole foods and it's all good foods. Lots of fruits and vegetables. So, doing one simple thing at a time on this marathon is much better than doing nothing at all. If you can only eliminate one thing, eliminate that one thing. Then go back and eliminate something else. For me, I made the decision to go boom, do it. My brain was in gear, and so I just did it. And I've had pretty good luck. Please, please think about your diet and how you can support your mind body, especially with COVID-19 and the stress in our daily lives. A lot of you that listen to me are teachers, and I don't know about you, but as I mentioned in a couple of episodes ago, my stress level has kind of skyrocketed. And I want to make sure that the food that I'm putting into my body isn't causing more problems besides adding to the stress. So, oh well, that's a different episode. Like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, everybody, God bless.